my friends, and welcome to the Chill Out Show, the YouTube channel where we just sit and chat and have a cozy time. It's been a little while since I have uploaded a video, not through any conscious choice of my own, just a little catch up of how I've been doing. Maybe this is not super chill, cozy content, but just wanted to keep you folks updated. I've not been very well lately. I struggle with numerous chronic illnesses and had a pretty rough time a couple of months ago managing my pain. I have a condition called fibromyalgia, which very simplistically means I'm in pain a lot of the time, if not all of the time. And usually it's fairly manageable, though I had a couple weeks where it very much wasn't. I had a migraine cluster headache situation for about 8 days and wasn't finding much relief, was waking up in the middle of the night constantly from this just throbbing, pounding headache. And I couldn't find anything to help. Panadol wasn't working, and because of another condition that I have, and this will become relevant later, foreshadowing, I cannot take ibuprofen. So, had tried a couple of other things, was not having much success. On the 8th day, which was a Sunday, I'd already booked an appointment to see my doctor. I decided to get some aspirin. Aspirin's not really a thing we use much in Australia. I don't know why, but it's just not kind of our go-to over-the-counter pain relief. But I bought it and it made my headache somewhat go away. And I was like, oh, wow, excellent. So I took it for the next couple of days and then was struck with some incredibly intense abdominal pain and gastrointestinal distress symptoms. And the other condition I have, or one of the other conditions that I have, is something called ulcerative colitis, which again, in very simplistic terms, is an autoimmune condition where my immune system, God bless her, she's trying to help, has gotten very confused and thinks my colon is a thing to be destroyed. And I got diagnosed with this about 6 years ago. After my treatment at that time, I've pretty much been in remission, which has been wonderful, to the point where I've even wondered, like, is this even something that I still have? I have to take constant medication for it, but never really had a problem until this Tuesday, this particular Tuesday, about a month ago now, and gave it a day or two and just wasn't going away. And I realized I'm in another ulcerative colitis flare, the first time for 6 years. And I was looking it up, and turns out, although my doctor told me at my diagnosis time, you cannot take ibuprofen, he did not tell me that I should also not take aspirin. But could just be a coincidence. But aspirin is also known to trigger a ulcerative colitis flare. So I think that's exactly what has happened, because it just seems like too much of a coincidence. So I've really not been very well. I have upped my medication, which I'm, able to do, and advice from my gastroenterologist, and I'm taking another regime of medication to try and get it under control, which is mostly working. I'm definitely doing better than I was, but really struggling a lot with fatigue and pain and mind fog and all the things that come from not being very well. And so I have an appointment in a couple of weeks, still onto it, treating myself. There is no particular foods that exactly cause or trigger UC. There are some that they advise you to stay away from or eat when you're in a flare, which are the exact opposite foods I should be eating for getting my blood sugar under control, which is another thing I battle with. So that's been a fun little balancing act for a while. So that is honestly why I've not been around making a video. I just have not had the cognitive ability or the headspace. Once I'm done with work, there's not much else I've had the capacity for. I've even had a real halt in my reading And I was like on a roll with reading, like smashing out a couple books every week. So yeah, feeling a bit low energy, but I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I do go back to work tomorrow. I've had the last couple of weeks off due to the September holidays, October holidays, final term. These holidays are not really that much of a break. I have been working through most of them because I teach seniors and it's just crunch time for them at the moment. But I'm conscious of the fact that even this break didn't feel like much of a break because I didn't feel great and was bedbound a couple of days and working the other days. I did have some time to rest and chill and spend some time with my partner. And also in 9 weeks, I get another huge 6-week break. And I have some big plans for summer to make the summer nice and have a good time. So yeah, that's and part of that is making videos and making content and writing and doing all kinds of things. If you'd like to support my creative endeavors, this is not the only thing that I do. I write and I perform and have lots of other things kind of in the hopper at the moment as well. I have a Patreon. I don't know if I've mentioned that or if I've mentioned that very much, but this is for my production company. And at the moment, it's just helping to keep the lights on, metaphorically speaking, in terms of keeping my website up and running, because I haven't done any like performance work in a while, and I'm still kind of figuring out the exact like focus and things. But I've mainly been working on fiction writing this year, in the last few months in particular, and have been longlisted for a few things, and I actually won a creative writing award last week, which was very lovely and validating and exciting, particularly as it was in acknowledgement of Mental Health Month, and it was about my lived experience with mental health. So if you go to my Patreon, you can actually read a couple of those pieces out from behind the paywall, some of my writing, and if you want to support that, you are welcome to do so. But, you know, no shade if you don't want to do that. So that's my little life update. Thank you for sticking with me, and hope you've been doing well in whatever part of the world you are. I was going to say as the weather's getting warmer, but I know that's not the case, of course, everywhere. But enough about that. Let's do what we came here for. We are going to play some movie games. I've got a few additional ones to add to our roster, and going to talk about what I've been watching and reading and playing recently. And I've got a bit of a thrift store haul as well. So nice and cozy, just chilling like we used to. So let's look at our movie games. This is the box office game. We are working with October 18th, 1991. So I am 3, almost 4. So there are things I might remember, but we'll see. So it's spooky season, so there's always a chance there'll be horror movies in there, but you never know. So number 1 at the box office this week is a Warner Brothers picture in its first week. We always start with the tagline, "Meet Larry the Liquidator." See, this is the other thing with all the box offices. It's often like the most iconic movies of all time or things you've never heard of. Arrogant, greedy, self-centered, ruthless, you gotta love the guy. I feel like this could easily go into 1 or 2 categories. Who's the star? Danny DeVito. Oh, God. Danny DeVito and Gregory Peck are in this movie. That's interesting. I know I'm not going to get this. When a corporate raider threatens a hostile takeover of a mom-and-pop company, the patriarch of the company enlists the help of his wife's attractive daughter, who's a lawyer, to stop the takeover. However, the raider soon becomes infatuated with her and enjoys the legal maneuvering as he tries to win her heart. This is a movie that doesn't exist, right? Other People's Money. Oh, maybe that sounds kind of familiar, but definitely not one I've seen or would know off the top of my head. Oh, Norman Jewison. He's a bit of a legend. So I'm sure there are people who that movie is an icon for. We haven't started well, but that's okay. Paramount Pictures. Why did I say that so weird? Paramount Pictures. In its second, number 2, in its second week. You never choose love, love chooses you. Fool. Oh, oh God. Is this Frankie and Johnny? It is, haha, a movie I only know. I've never seen it. It's a movie I only know because it used to get like the trailer of that is burnt in my brain because it used to be on a lot. But also, I think the trailer was on like a VHS thing that I taped off. Like I taped something and the ads were still there, and so I have it's burned in my brain. All right, so Frankie and Johnny. See, we're getting there. Number 3 in its 5th week of release, still at number 3. So this might be something. A modern day about the search for love, sanity, Ethel Merman, and the Holy Grail. It's a Robin Williams picture. Shit. We got Robin Williams, Jeff Bridges, Amanda Plummer. Oh God. I don't know if the director's gonna help me. Because this is early. This is before. What is Robin Williams and Jeff Bridges were in a movie about finding the Holy Grail? That's Terry Gilliam. Shit. I don't know. Oh! I do know that title. It's not a movie I'm familiar with. I do know that title. Damn. That's probably a movie I should see. Alright. See, this era is just like a little bit too before my time. Tagline. This is one case that's going to be settled out of court. We got Denzel and John Lithgow. Oh, God. How many legal thrillers has Denzel done? Ice-T is in this movie. It's a Denzel legal thriller from... No, oh, I mean, I guess it's not because they're saying settled out of court. Oh, God. An attorney is it's terrorized by a criminal he put away years ago when he was a cop. Ricochet. Okay, that is a movie that doesn't exist. Okay. That is 100% a movie that doesn't exist. Denzel, John Lithgow, and Ice-T, though, that sure is a trio of people. Number 5. Look, we're 1 for 4 so far. I'd love to finish this on a high note, but we will see. All right. Number 5 at the box office in its 2nd week. A comedy so funny it's scary. Yeah, we haven't had any like Halloween-y kind of things. Oh, it's a fucking... Okay, shit. It's a goddamn Ernest movie. The only Ernest movie I've ever seen is Ernest Saves Christmas, but I'm guessing it's Ernest Scared Stupid. Okay, yeah. I'm not happy that that's one I got. I saw Ernest Saves Christmas quite a lot as a kid for some reason. It was one of those things where, man, remember when like, you know, all movies weren't just at your fingertips? And I don't know if other schools had this, but like if we wanted to watch a movie, people would bring in the VHSs that they happened to have, and then the teacher could like pick out of those. And I was often a kid who was bringing in VHSs. And a kid I remember bringing in Ernest Saves Christmas, and we watched it at school. And then for some reason I definitely watched it more times after that. But I've not seen other Ernest films. I don't know where this falls in the canon. Okay, that was not our finest box office game hour, but it's okay. We're going to move over to the Cinematrix, which I always confess I always do take a bit of a look at before to see if we're going to include it. But I think we can do this. This is more my speed. We got with Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Seyfried, or Bynes, which I love, Hilary Duff. And our categories are title begins with P to Z. We've got 3 words in the title, and we've got the release date 1996 and 2010, which is these ladies' heyday. So, and there's no things that I have to like kind of figure out. Like 3 words in the title, P to Z, I can just nut that out. Knowing when they're going to be when they've been released, All right, so straight, it's just going to be more of a matter of what we put where. Okay. So, with the one thing I'm thinking with Amanda Bynes sitting there is, did Easy A come out after 2010? Hilary Duff films, I've got Raise Your Voice in my head and A Cinderella Story and obviously the Lizzie McGuire movie. So, Raise Your Voice fits there. So what do we? Let's just dive in. Let's no second guessing. Let's just start with Hilary Duff. I'm gonna go. Let's go with Raise Your Voice and titles beginning with P to Z. There we go. 27. Okay. So if you haven't seen this before, the percentage is how many other people have guessed that. I'm happy if I get under 20. So that, it's not great. It's not amazing. So where do we put? I reckon we go Lizzie McGuire movie here. Ooh, okay. Not my best call. You know what? I was gonna go Cinderella Story. I'm gonna change it up for a bit more of an obscure one. Hopefully this pays off. Yes, okay, thank you. Excellent. All right, we're back in business. Perfect Man, 2%. Love that. Perfect Man. I've seen it. Heather Locklear plays her mum, and she like basically catfishes her own mum with Big from Sex and the City. All right, okay. Do we go up? Let's do Lohan. Let's do Lohan. All right, Seyfried or Bynes, I think I can nail. That's not a sentence to take out of context. Lindsay Lohan. Okay. The ones off the top of my head, obviously Parent Trap. Okay. Mean Girls, obviously. Freaky Friday. Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, which I reckon we go with for the long words because that seems like a more obscure one. Let's just dive right in and do that right now. Okay. Maybe I underestimated the popularity of that movie. All right, so Parent Trap and Freaky Friday. Do I put a Herbie Fully Loaded in there? There's no way that came out after 2010. Right? That was the Herbie movie she made, right? Okay, excellent. And we got 10%. Okay, cool. Cool. Freaky Friday doesn't fit P to Z. Will the Parent Trap, though? Because that technically starts with T. It probably doesn't. Oh, hang on. It might tell me. Is it going to give me more information? Ah, here we go. Any title... A title starting with numeral count as a digit, not as a letter as it's spelled out. Okay. Shit. Okay, hang on. Yeah, Parent Trap's... Oh, no, Parent Trap does count because T is still in that range. That's a really obvious one, though. Like, that'll be like 80%. Right? Is there another Lindsay Lohan movie we can think of? As always, I'm sure there's people who are like, yes, and have it off the top of their head. I'm struggling, though. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, 72%. Yeah. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Could I have thought about it more? Probably. All right, we got Seyfried or Bynes. So, for Bynes, I know I want What a Girl Wants in there. All right, She's the Man feels too obvious. For Seyfried, obviously Mean Girls, but again, that feels obvious. Do we go with a Mamma Mia 2? You know what? I think we put Mamma Mia 2 in here. Or do we go What a Girl Wants? No, I reckon we go... She is in the second one, right? Yeah. Oh, fuck. Okay. That was not the way to go. Sometimes I want to do this twice. And I know other people do that. All right. Let's go. Let's put What a Girl Wants. Oh, hang on. No, wait. Do we put What a Girl Wants in Peter Z? What's the Seafried Channing Tatum Nicholas Sparks is Dear John, I'm pretty sure. Okay, yes, okay. Again, for every heart, we're redeeming ourselves. We got a couple of really good ones on the board. And we go, What a Girl Wants here. What percentage did I get for that? 20. Okay. You know what? Again, not our best. Completed the grid. So, yeah, okay. I was right to not do Cinderella Story or She's the Man. Yeah, okay. What if some more obscure ones? Lindsay Lohan's in The Holiday? I should have picked... What is she in one of those, like, Valentine's Day and New Year's Eve kind of ones? Probably. Anyway, we completed the grid. Now we're going to move on to... I've added some new daily movie games to my repertoire. Cinernerdle, which is so clunky to say. This one, I'm hit and miss on. Basically, it's a frame of a movie. This is Spinal Tap, which I'm actually going to talk about later. Damn. So this has been the week. I only played a couple, but I played Almost Famous and Scott Pilgrim, and I got those. 2 frames. I mean, the fact that I clicked on the one that said the 11. Oh, no, it doesn't. This is volume 2. I didn't even click on the one that said 11. I just saw a frame of a dial and was like, yes, I was going to say the word knob, and I didn't. This is Spinal Tap. The weekly theme is always interesting. I mean, a lot of these are music. Yeah, people are musicians. If I just put musicians, I don't know if that will... Theme, fictional band. I got it. Haha. Yeah, Channing Red, Freaky Friday, Green Room, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Almost Famous. This is Spinal Tap. Hell yeah. So that's Cinernerdle. But the one that I really like, so on Cinernerdle or Cin2Nerdle, there's a bunch. I'm very bad at most of them. But this one, sometimes I don't get it all. For the first 5 days I played this, I got them all in like the first or 2 guesses. So basically what this game is it's people's letterbox reviews, and you have to try and guess the movie. I know because this is the first time I'm doing this for a video, I am not going to get it. All right. Will this be on the... So the first review is a 4.5 stars. Will this be on the AP Bio exam? My instinct already is The Happening, because in that movie, Mark Wahlberg plays a biology teacher. So I'm just going to... No. Okay. Turns the source's haunting inferiority and uncertain melancholy into something really thuddingly literal. Thuddingly literal. Jettisoning the book would have been fine, but this hits every generic beat in its place, and the self-consciously trippy climax is immediately undone with way too clean final moments. All the warmth and mystery and sadness is just gone to make room for a sorta arty monster movie with a dumb last-second twist. This is interesting. So it's based on a book. It's a monster movie. This person didn't like it. Fifth viewing in under 30 hours. I love this. That always gives such a rate. Amongst an array of other themes, a flawless allegorical tackling of the inexplicable nature of cancer. Oh, I know what this is. This is 28 years later. No? Seriously? Okay, alright. I'm wrong. Nature of cancer with the bold belief in... Okay, that's not based on a book. Fuck, damn it. With the bold belief in some sort of existence beyond death, that said, obliteration is in fact merely an alteration, that dying is simply a change rather than a conclusion. This is probably a horror... Okay. I think they've been mostly doing horror movies this month. And I'm not a horror movie person. We'll say the average guess on this is 6.3. Nothing but respect for my female Ghostbusters. Oh yeah, this is a flippin' horror movie. I'm not gonna know it. Oh god, nothing but respect for my female Ghostbusters. So it's a ghost movie. There'll be people who know this. For sci-fi lovers, something is a Lovecraftian fantastic film. Oh god, I wouldn't mind getting my DNA all fucked up if it meant witnessing the gorgeous colors in. Oh wait, if it's The Shimmer. Oh, that's really familiar. Shoot. There's, yeah. There's a movie I wasn't gonna know. Damn it. Maybe I can't play this on October. Because I don't know horror movies. I just don't. Damn it. I promise I'm really good at this game. I'll do it after October, and you'll all see. But finally, let's do a check-in with my box office game, which I'm still winning, that I'm going to hold on to until the very last minute. I'm currently on $1.3 billion, thank you to Jurassic World Rebirth and How to Train Your Dragon. Even 8 years later, ended up going into the black. Ballerina let me down. Day the Earth Blew Up let me down. That was honestly wishful thinking. Paddington in Peru really let me down. But everything else is looking alright. My final 3 films on the slate: Wicked for Good, can't believe I picked that up. The Running Man, which... It's Edgar Wright, man. I want to see it. I want to see Edgar Wright work with Glenn Powell. I don't know if it's going to do well. Glenn Powell's got to prove himself to be a box office drawer. And then the Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which, has a smallish budget, and so therefore will probably make some. My partner has Zootopia 2, the Springsteen biopic, and Anaconda, which I saw the trailer for. I knew they were remaking Anaconda because I'd seen it on this list. I did not know the premise of it was Jack Black and Paul Rudd's characters decide to remake Anaconda, and then of course they there's only so many times you can do that, like a movie that's about like a reboot of a movie that's about rebooting the movie. Getting 2 of the most charismatic and likable movie stars to do it is good. I probably won't want to see it, at least not in the cinema, because it does still look like a horror movie, kind of. But that could be fun. It could also be very terrible. The fact that it's coming out Christmas is a bit deranged, but anyway. But she also has Avatar: Fire and Ash coming out. And so at the very end of the year, she's going to put me at the post. But maybe Wicked for Good will make $2 billion. We'll find out. Yes, we shall see about that. So let's now get into what I've been watching. So, my TV habits the past few months, we have been watching through Archer recently, and we finished it the other day, all 14 seasons. Both my partner and I had seen the first, I want to say 5 or 6 seasons, a whole bunch, and both kind of dropped off in the 3 seasons where they were dream sequences and never came back to it. So, we watched, all our old favorites, and then it was all new in the back half. And that's a show that I honestly consistently enjoyed right up until the end. I wanted a little bit more catharsis in the final couple minutes. I won't say any more than that. But generally speaking, really loved it. I believe there's some people, definitely obviously people who have major problems with the dream sequence seasons, which I share, but now that it's all just binge worthy, you can skip them, or you can know that it's coming to an end. When it was happening, we were like, are we ever getting back to the real world? So being able to know that was coming, I honestly really enjoyed it pretty much up until the end, and was was kind of in awe of the consistency of it. That being said, one of my maybe biggest criticisms is that I feel like Archer's growth kind of halted at some point in the last couple of seasons. But that's fine. He's also never been a character who has learned and grown. That's kind of what I wanted just a tiny bit more of in the final few minutes. If you've seen the final few minutes of the Archer finale, you'll know what I'm talking about. But that show is just super fun and super clever. And if they ever make more of it, the finale certainly leaves it open. I will be down. But that was really fun. And now we finished the other night and we were like 14 seasons, this is a lot. We've been watching it for a while and we were like, oh man, we need a new show now. So we got to figure out what we're watching next. So I will keep you updated on what we do. In my own time, I've been rewatching Boston Legal. I mentioned this last time. I'm in like season 4 now. Pretty sure there's only 5 seasons, so I'm almost done. That's been really fun, largely because of the era that it's set in. Like it starts off in the Bush era and then it starts to get into the Clinton Obama primary and referencing those kind of politics. And it's almost like obviously things were so bad then for so many reasons, and it tackles a lot of issues that were going on then. And it's almost quaint, like the kind of things that they were arguing about. It's a show that I have, and I mentioned this last time, that I have a lot of fondness of, despite a lot of its flaws. The fact that William Shatner is so good in that show, and he won at least 1 Emmy. I don't know if he won any more for it, and it's like deservedly so. The fact that he can make a character that, it's kind of like related to Archer, I guess, although Boston Legal is so grounded in the real world, sort of, that it's less funny, but just to get away with just treating sexual harassment like it's a cute personality trait, like they do with both William Shatner and James Spader's characters, and that they kind of get away with that and you still love them and they're super charming even though they are objectively just terrible men, is quite a feat and a testament to both of those actors. But there's so much going on in it that I do just love, and it's just been a nice, like I just put that on while I'm cooking or doing stuff around the house. And I think, but I'm going to keep doing that, like have a little kind of show on the side to just watch when I'm doing whatever. And that was a big comfort watch on a couple of days when I couldn't get out of bed. Like that's what I was watching, just binging that. I think I'm going to get back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I didn't watch Buffy when it was on because I was a big wuss. I don't like horror movies, as I said. It would have been scary to me if I'd watched it when it was on. But I got into it like 15 years ago and watched like 95% of it. But because I'm such a completionist with things, once it got to the point where it was overlapping with Angel, I was trying to I was going back and forth between Buffy and Angel. And this was before streaming, so I was like swapping discs constantly and like following a little, this is the order to watch it in. And that was good because there's a lot of, crossovers and stuff. But that slowed me down a little bit. So I think starting, once I finish Boston Legal and like the summer will be starting, I'm like, this is going to be my summer of Buffy where I'm going to rewatch that again. And I want to do the Angel thing too, which will be easy because they're on streaming. So I can just now swap between. That's my plan for what I want to watch next. And I'm really excited about that because I loved that show. Despite some of the creators of it being problematic, it doesn't take away the power of a lot of what that show did and what it created. So that's going to be my summer watch, I think. And I think I would love to do a rewatch over the summer of either Steven Universe or The Last Airbender, or maybe both. They just feel like summer watches to me. Like, just, anyway. I have plans. I mentioned, I've got summer plans. So, we have a little outdoor area outside of our, container caravan situation. And, it's going to get hot, and we live in 2 metal boxes. So my plan is to make outside really nice. And I'm going to get a big shade cover. I'm going to get a really comfy camp chair, and I want to get a big outdoor, an outdoor projector set up so that I can have TV and movies and stuff set up there and just sit outside, particularly in the evening, and just sit outside, have the barbecue cranking, have an esky out there. That just seems super chill to me. So that's my plan. Gonna sit outside in the summer heat, watch Buffy. And cricket. That's my plan. So that's the TV situation. Movies. We recently rewatched Burn After Reading, which was super fun. My favorite movie podcast, Blank Check, is doing the Coens at the moment, the Coen brothers. And I haven't been 100% listening to it all because there's a few gaps in my Coen brothers watching that I want to fill, but because we've been talking about it, and God, there was something else we were talking about that was related to it, and my partner was just like, do you want to rewatch Burn After Reading? I was like, yes. I do love that movie. It's definitely a movie that I enjoy more now that I've seen it a couple of times, and I kind of know I know what's going to happen. I know straight up without spoiling too much, the end of Brad Pitt's character arc, I'll put it that way. I screamed the first time I saw that. So knowing where it's going, it is a very mean-spirited movie. And we were kind of comparing it to The Big Lebowski, because I'd never seen that. We watched that together a few months ago. And my partner did not know that they were directed by the same team. And so we were kind of comparing them, because they're very much the same theme of, like, you know, hapless idiot gets caught up in a bigger crime situation, then, you know, gets in way over their head. But The Big Lebowski, like, you've got people to root for, and it does kind of end well, like, you know it's all fine. Well, that's not the case in Burn After Reading. But far out, that movie is so goddamn funny. Like, that movie is so funny. Like, Brad Pitt's performance in it is so good, but everyone in that movie is so good. So that was a good time. And then the other night, we watched Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which is a movie that I go into bat for constantly. It's the Lonely Island movie. It's trying to make Andy Samberg a movie star. It's a music mockumentary that absolutely tanked at the box office. People were like, no, thank you. But, of course, it's gained cult status because it is so funny. It is one of the best modern comedies out there. It's so hilarious. And we were talking about it because the guy who wrote and directed that, or one of the guys that wrote and directed it, just did The Naked Gun, which the remake of The Naked Gun, which we both loved so much. And so I was like, well, we should watch that because my partner loved that too. And also we were making plans to see Spinal Tap 2. And we were like, well, and I was like, this is a movie that's been so inspired by Spinal Tap. So we watched Popstar Never Stop. If you've not seen Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping, please rectify that immediately. That movie was so slept on. It is so funny. And this was one of the reasons why I knew Naked Gun had the chance to be really good, because I trusted those guys to just know comedy and know how to do it in a non-mean-spirited way, while still being very ridiculous. And God, the fake music in that movie, even like the credit song, it's just, that movie's a comedic masterpiece. So we saw that the other night, right before the day we saw Spinal Tap 2, which we saw yesterday. Now, this is Spinal Tap, the first one, is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it so much. It's one of them, and it's a movie that, like, got shown to me by my tech theatre teacher. Yes, I did a subject called technical theatre in high school. I went to a very artsy high school. And he showed it to us, and it was one of those things that now I relate to very much, of a teacher just wanting to show their class a movie that they think is really important and that thinks the next generation should see, and found tentative ways to make that work. Like, we're doing tech theatre, obviously there's tech stuff in it, and I remember him trying to make that connection, and he just wanted to show us Spinal Tap. And I've done that exact thing with classes before. I'm just like, yeah, there's reasons to show you this, but also this is just a movie you need to see. And I've loved it ever since then. I think it is so brilliant. And ever since they announced a sequel, I was like, I kind of trust those guys, man. And, you know, if they're just riffing and improvising, I think they can pull this off. I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking. It's not going to feel as exciting as the first one, because by its very nature, it can't. But yeah, I think this could be fun. And that's exactly what it was. It was a gentleman's six, you know. It didn't blow my mind. I was laughing all the way through. I found it very funny. And I was honestly mostly impressed with the things that they didn't do. Like, there could have been so much just rehashing and referencing the first one. They did that a tiny bit, but nowhere near as much as they, like, just doing new jokes. Like, they didn't even reference the, like, up to 11 or, like, the really iconic things from the first one. They really could have just hammered home and just made it, like, you know, a greatest hits thing, and gotten the thrill of everyone being like, oh, that's from the first movie. And they didn't do that. It's all new bits, new jokes. There's only a couple of times they reference the first one. And it doesn't stand alone. But it works because they didn't do that. And there's what they also don't do, which they easily could have done, is because it's about these, you know, 3 old men now, is a lot of like, isn't the world different? Or, you know, the world, you know, these days is like this. The music industry these days is like this. And they just didn't do that. You know, which there was no low-hanging fruit, easy punches, like none of that. Which again, I was like, that would have been the easy out, you know. Instead, it's just putting these 3 characters into this new situation of getting back together, and what have they been doing since then? And I enjoyed it, and I know because of a movie like that, there's so much going on. The other thing that they didn't do, yes, there are a few celebrity cameos in there, but they could have overloaded it even more with that, and they just don't. They really could have, you know, filled it with famous people, and they just didn't do that. And so I was impressed with that. It was a good time. Of course, it was pretty much exactly what I expected. That it was fun, it was funny. I do want to see it again. I definitely want to get the physical release of it, because I have a feeling there's going to be a crap ton of deleted scenes, just like with the first one. Because it's the other thing, they get out, it's under 90 minutes long. Like, smart, they know that. Comedies in particular, like Amadeus, I think, is a brilliant movie. There are so many brilliant movies over 2 hours long. Comedies get out under 90 and you're doing well. So yeah, that was last night, and it was a good time. So I would like say to people, I know some people have, you know, not liked it at all, but I had a good time. The thing I really enjoyed was there was a woman there with her, like, I want to say like 8, 9, 10-year-old daughter that she brought. This movie's MA, by the way, 15 plus in Australia. You convert that however you need to. And I was like, okay, this is exactly, like, this is a mum who, again, has shown her daughter the first one and been like, this is an important film, and now I'm going to take you to the sequel. And, like, her kid it's not like the kid, like, ran around or got clearly bored, but the mum was having the time of her life. She was cracking up through the whole thing, except for the couple of minutes where she was on her phone, that if she'd gone any longer, I would have had to have done, excuse me. Like, I had to do something about it. But I just thought that was a great little bit of generational, like, insistence on, you will appreciate this, which I always enjoy. So that's what I've been watching. In addition, I've also been to the cinema. I did attend the official release party of a Showgirl. Is that what she called it? Which was one of those things that, like, you know, Taylor Swift announces her album and then announces, you know, there's going to be this movie event. We're going to premiere the film clip of the first single, get some behind the scenes stuff, and then you watch lyric videos of the rest of the album. And of course, you just go, oh my God, no other artist could sell tickets to watch lyric videos. You know, this is crazy. And then, you know, texting with my best friend about it, and then finally being like, but we want to go though, right? And so we did. I'm not going to belabor anything about this album. Everything that could possibly be said about this album has been said. So I'm just going to talk about my personal experience, experiencing this album. So for a start, weird way to listen to an album for the first time. It was the first thing we said to each other after we left, is to watch it on a screen, with, you know, a handful of other people. And I didn't clock it. She did halfway through and then told me afterwards that we were also getting the clean version of all the songs because it was a family-friendly kind of screening. So we didn't get the full thing of all of the songs, which is very funny. So we had to then be like, okay, we need to listen to the version that has the fucks in it. You know, I I listened to all the songs, and I did say, like, the one thing it needed was, like, 2 minutes between each song to be able to turn to the person next to you and just, like, process what you just heard. I said, I'm just going to talk about my thoughts and feelings. I'm not wading into the discourse. Although knowing me, I might by the end of this. It was pretty much exactly what I expected. Like, same kind of thing. I knew it was going to be radically different from the last album. I knew she was working with her 1989 producers. I knew she's in a completely different place in her life. From everything that she'd done, I was like, this is going to be a pure pop, simple, fun, light album, which is exactly what it is. And so, you know, I came out of it, I was like, don't love it. Some things in there I actively don't like. Some songs and some lyrics and some concepts I'm like, not super on board with. I listened to it on the car on the way home, and I was like, okay, yeah, okay, I see exactly what she's trying to do here, or what she is doing here. And then I didn't really have any desire to listen to it over the next couple of days, which was so different from Tortured Poets Department, which I just had on repeat for, honestly, almost still do, since it came out last year. But then the last few days, though, I found myself coming back to it, and now that I know it a little bit more, and I'm like, this is a song you want to, like, play out loud and sing along to. It is super fun to sing along to. There's a couple of songs that I now straight up love. The Fate of Ophelia and Elizabeth Taylor, I love both those songs. Then there's plenty of songs on there that I like. There's a couple that I really don't like, for very specific reasons. But I'm like, this album's a bop, and I think it's exactly what she intended it to be. I think the one thing I'll say about, you know, the general feedback has been like, the lyrics are bad. It's, you know, how is this the same person who wrote Folklore, blah, 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 blah. And if you cannot like her music, absolutely fine. You can think she's a raging capitalist, which she is. You can think she should use her platform for better causes, which she should. You can think anything bad about her. I am not someone who will not take any criticism. There are plenty of things to criticize about her as an artist and a person. You cannot deny what a savvy business person she is. And as I've seen all of the, like, memes and comments and the making fun of her lyrics and, like, screenshots taking them out of context and laughing about, like, oh my god, why do we have a song about Travis Kelce's penis? This is why. Like, I'm not saying everything she does is intentional and she can't make a misstep or a mistake, but if you think she hasn't known exactly what she's doing, if you don't think she could write a song like Wood knowing everyone was going to talk about it and ask about it and make fun of it, knowing she knows that any publicity, particularly in the first couple of weeks, is good, like, she knows what she's doing, folks. Like, come on. And knowing that people were going to call this album simple and make fun of it, because, you know what? People are saying her name, man. And that's all I'll say about that. I could really go into that, but I'll save that ranting for my partner has to hear this a lot. But yeah, the Life of a Showgirl release, you know, it was fun. I'm not gonna deny, like, it was a cool kind of way, and particularly, like, you know, there was my best friend who's, you know, my Taylor Swift friend. Like, probably not the ideal way to listen to an album for the first time. But, and, you know, there was no rule. We could have listened to it beforehand, but we wanted to go in. The one thing I will say that was did make it worth it, I do think, is seeing the film clip. If you haven't watched the film clip for The Fate of Ophelia, even if you have no interest in her whatsoever, I really highly recommend it, because it is a fantastic music video. The concept is brilliant, and of course, because she has all of the resources at her disposal, she's been able to execute it perfectly. Like, it's so beautifully done, every detail of it. Like, it's shot by Martin Scorsese's DP. Like, it's just, you know, choreographed by Mandy Moore. Every costume, every look, and then it is the whole concept of the video, I think, is very clever. And I'm a real sucker for, you know, a fake one shot thing, which this, you know, is. That video is great. And so seeing that on the big screen, and there was a bunch of, like, behind the scenes of how they made it stuff, was genuinely really cool. So that's all I'm gonna say about Life of a Showgirl. And then very quickly, other things I have been, doing and reading and experiencing. So I finished Tiny Bookshop, because of course I did. And God, I can't wait for there to be more content for that game. But, we'll get to that. So then I was looking for something to fill that hole. I've then been playing Spiritfarer, and I really loved that game. It got a little bit grindy towards the end, but it was also a game where you could once you got to a certain point, you could end it, as once you wanted to. And a lot of people find the game really emotional. Like, the concept of the game is you are basically Charon/Charon, guiding spirits to the afterlife, to the underworld. And so there's a lot about death and grief. I didn't find it particularly emotional, but I do understand why some people do. I don't think I'm a person who gets as emotionally invested in video games as other people do. But played that, and that really scratched the itch for a while. And then I finished it, and I was like, what do I watch? What do I play now? Which was right in time for the autumn sale, even though it's spring here. And I bought a bunch of games that I've been kind of bouncing around between. I did just finish Strange Horticulture, which I liked a lot, but it was the kind of thing where, like, you had to, like, solve puzzles and mysteries and stuff, which is very satisfying. But there was a few that, like, I had to, like, keep track of things and take notes, and I'm such a cozy gamer. If I have to start, like, keeping a spreadsheet, this is why I couldn't do Stardew. Like, if I've got to keep a spreadsheet, I'm probably not gonna. So, like, I really liked it, and I love the aesthetics of Strange Horticulture. It might be a bit before I get into Strange Antiquities, because apparently it's even more complex, and, like, you need to really, like, keep notes and stuff. I'm like, do I want to do that? But I don't know what to play now. I've been ducking into a few things. I would like to stream a bit of a cozy stream at some point, playing something, but I playing a bit of Make Room, playing a bit of Journey, which is an old game that I loved when it came out. What else was I playing? I played through all of Gorogoa actually yesterday, which is a game that I love, and I play through because it takes like 30 minutes, or around about. I love that game. I do think I want to stream that game just because it's beautiful. It was the first thing I actually ever streamed. And in terms of reading, like I said, I got on a bit of a lag due to my cognitive abilities struggling a little bit. But I did read the first 3 in the Truly Devious series. I didn't mean to read the first 3. I only meant to read the first one. That's a mystery series, and I assumed it would be like other mystery series where, yes, there is an ongoing thing, and, the detective's the same every time, but, like, you solve the mystery at the end of the first book, and no. So I finished the first book and was like, God damn it! I really want to know, and I grabbed book 2 and book 3 very quickly on my e-reader. And I really, really liked it, enjoyed it a lot. But that, like, threw off my schedule. The other book that I've read recently that I have loved was Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I really liked The Martian quite a lot. But, I'm not a big sci-fi reader, particularly, stuff like his that's like quite hard sci-fi, but he does make it very accessible. And then I knew the movie of Project Hail Mary was coming out, and I saw someone just, like, offhandedly say, like, oh, the trailer for that has a really big spoiler. And so for some reason that spurred me on to be like, then I should read the book. And I read the book, and I could not believe how much I loved it. And then I watched the trailer, and the trailer made me cry, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna love it. If they've done this movie justice, which the trailer kind of looks like it has, oof. Yeah. I generally don't want to say anything about it. But the concept is fantastic, and if you enjoyed The Martian, yeah, no, so good. Made me want to watch and read The Martian again. Could not believe how much I liked Project Hail Mary. Currently reading The Hobbit, which my mum has tried to get me to read for 25 years. And I've never been interested because, again, I'm not a fantasy person. I feel like I've been saying all the things that I'm not into this stream. Like, I'm not into horror or sci-fi or fantasy. I like stuff contemporary and modern and real, okay? But yeah, I've actually been surprised that I've been enjoying it. So I got to pick that up again. So yeah, that's been my content that I've been consuming. But now, finally, let's wrap things up. Let's talk about some physical media that I've picked up. So it's been across a few different visits to a few different thrift stores, and then also like a local coffee shop the other day was like, we're having a DVD sale, and I literally left work to go and check it out, and I'm so glad I did. But a couple of things that I picked up recently. I mentioned my last stream, or one of my last streams, that I'd recently read The Virgin Suicides, and couldn't believe how much I loved it, and so I found the film and picked it up. Haven't seen it. I know I need to watch it when I'm in the right mood. Also picked up this whenever I see, this is one of my, have to pick it up anytime. If I ever see anything of like Australian comedy from the 90s, early 2000s that is not really available anywhere, I will pick it up. So the Eric Bana Show is like a perfect example of that. If I ever find like Fast Forward or Full Frontal or any of that, those physical releases, I will be picking them up. So I also picked up Bowling for Columbine. I don't actually think this is streaming anywhere. And, you know, very interesting film to revisit so many years later. But I think a very important film for a lot of reasons. And just having that in physical release again, I don't think it's streaming anywhere, at least not here. Then I got a little bit of TV. I picked up this, which the cover, the case, and everything about this I hate. It's season 1 of Rugrats. It's this flimsy cardboard cover, and then it's like, see, the discs have already fallen out. I just put, like, it's this situation? What are we doing? What are we doing, guys? Don't do this. Particularly, anyway, it's probably all already scratched to buggery, but I'm very happy to have this. Other TV, last time I said I picked up season 2 of Parks and Rec. And I found 1 and 3 the other day. So only a couple more of that to find, which I think is a show that I very much will appreciate having. And then, you know, I've just been talking about this. Actually, the next 2 TV series are things that I once had on DVD, but lost in a breakup. Didn't get them in the custody battle. So I picked up season 1. Yes, it is streaming, but I'm at the point now, I'm like, things I love, I want in physical copies. Speaking of another one that I did own, and now don't. This is an option for what we want to watch next, because my partner's never seen it. So of course, tragically, only the 1 season. But, you know, one of the greatest television shows ever made, right? By none. And then we've got my Disney finds for this, I was going to say for this quarter, for this particular haul. If you're new to the party, I am attempting to create a Disney physical media collection, to have physical copies of not only all the things that I love, but also they've stopped making physical DVDs or Blu-rays in my country. And I would like to be able to own it so that, you know what, I could unplug from streaming services if I wanted to. So the things that I found recently, one is WALL-E. Now, I do actually already own WALL-E, but like the Rugrats copy, it was in this very cool, I could see what they were trying to do, but like cardboard kind of case that was flimsy and terrible. So having an actual copy of this, I'm very happy to have. And then now, This was the DVD sale. This local coffee shop was like, we're having a DVD sale. And I went and I was going through all the racks. I was like, not seeing anything. And then I get to their kids section. And we catch some white whales. All right. We've got Aladdin King of Thieves. This is still sealed. This has not been opened. All right. Like, the sequels to these are actually like pretty, you know, iconic. But then we get Muppet Treasure Island. The Muppet movies are very, very hard to find except for the modern ones. So super happy to have that. If you can hear some banging, my dog is suddenly like, let me in. And Fantasia. The one I never thought I would find, that I thought I would maybe have to get on eBay, and it's this beautiful copy. Like, I'm not, beggars can't be choosers. If I find it, I will buy it, no matter what the cover is. but I was worried I would find it in a terrible cover. This is a beautiful cover, and it looks like new. It's like, I haven't actually looked at the disc. The disc, this is a brand new disc. I love Fantasia, and also this is the oldest one. I now own every single Disney animated feature film release from Snow White until 1995, with the addition of this. So, and it stops at 1995 because I can't find a Goofy movie anywhere, because I think that has had had a weird revival. So that is now my next white whale. And the final Muppets movie I have to find is Muppets Take Manhattan. So pretty much everything else on my list I could take or leave. Those two I gotta find. I've been doing this for about a year now. So yeah. And finally, I mentioned in a previous video that I'd also started collecting Babysitters Club books. I had a really big collection. I got rid of them when I moved out. I've always regretted it. And and they don't shop in thrift stores as much as you would think. But I went to a thrift store the other day, and they had a lot of them, like a lot of them. And I was like, and all ones I didn't have. And I was like, and in the original paperback form, like, you know, not re-releases, like potentially first editions. And I was like, I'll just pick out a few that I want. And then went, no, I'm going to get them all. So I added these to my collection. The one I'm the most excited about is actually one I kept from my old collection, but I read it so much, my copy has fallen apart. And that is a super special starring the Babysitters Club, where the Babysitters Club are in a musical production of Peter Pan. If you know me at all, this is like very relevant to my interests. I read this copy so much, I kept my copy, it had fallen apart. So I always knew I was going to get that. But yeah, I got 13. I want to get 1 to 100. So I think I'm about a quarter of the way there with that and the other ones that I have. So that is it from me. Thank you so much for hanging out. As always, let me know if there's something you would like me to talk about or share. But otherwise, thank you for just chilling with me as I talk about things I love. This has been really fun. Definitely want to do this again sooner than last time, as I start to feel a little bit better. So thank you so much. Look after yourselves, watch some stuff, read some stuff, play some stuff you enjoy, and you will see me next time.